Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. While many of you have been waiting for tomorrow's Browns opening exhibition game as if it were the Super Bowl, the big game on the sports calendar in Cleveland tomorrow will actually take place in Minneapolis, where the Twins and the Indians begin a 4-game series. The Indians already have won Game 1 of a doubleheader tonight downtown, while the Twins lost to Atlanta. The Indians won as Jose-Ramirez hit a 2-run home run in the 7th for the only runs of the game. He then hit another one in the second game to give the Tribe a 1-0 lead. And if they hang on, they'll only be 2 games behind the Twins when the showdown series begins. Like you, I'm excited about the Browns and their chances this season. But first things first, there's still a month of baseball games to go before the Browns play a regular season game. Let's enjoy this month while we can. We can also enjoy Jeff-Schudel. He's here tonight. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 23rd consecutive and coming up on 24th consecutive year of nightly broadcasting, and it's seen exclusively, of course, right here on cleveland.com. Jeff-Schudel is here, an all-around sports guy, and somebody told me that tonight, based on your appearances at the Browns camp in Berea, that we should turn you around, face the back wall and have somebody take selfies behind you, because that's what it looks like sometimes at Berea with you facing the other way.
It is funny how we all end up on each other's videos, you know. And,
right.
And I get the same guys in my videos every night and
right.
After every interview. And you know, you can't really do anything about it. You'd like to get just a player, but what's funny, Les, is when you're doing some interviews and the people on the other side, I'm sure I've done this too, are looking for somebody else.
Right.
And you're getting kind of like...
So is there a battle for position? I know when Tom Withers is there, he has to be the first questionnaire because Helen Thomas used to do that with the Associated Press with Tom Withers. Is there a battle for position to get more airtime with the pictures being taken?
There's a battle for position to get an unobstructed view.
Okay.
And... I'm one of the shorter ones. Mary Kay Cabot and I were among the shortest. What can you do about it? And so, actually, we're short enough where we could stand in front of a TV camera.
Yeah.
And some of the other people.
Any fights ever break out?
I won't say never, but there's some arguments when some people are rude about it.
I had one. I was at camp on Wednesday, and I was sitting. I had a chair in the corner of the end zone. And this one cameraman was in front of me, and finally, on the 6th time that he moved over to get in my way, I just tapped him on his arm and said, "Number 7 is going to be the charm. I would suggest you look before you leap and see whose view you're obstructing."
Well, since you
I'm way past my fighting days, by the way.
Since you mentioned that, those are the people we get into discussions. We'll use the word discussions with cameramen who think they're the only ones there.
Right. Well, also because the Browns have elicited so much interest. There's new people out there who don't know the ways of the world in Berea.
Right. Yeah, and frankly, Les, I wish that they set it up better where if the cameramen were on a stage or blocks,
then there's no pushing and shoving.
And then you don't have that issue. Then you could stand in front of the cameras and not have that. And when you're doing these group interviews, since you brought this up, and you're trying to crowd around Baker-Mayfield or Odell Beckham, I mean, it's okay if you're doing the 3rd string safety, right? You're by yourself. But when you're talking to those, the stars, it's...
Well, the Browns PR people aren't used to that.
You're jockeying for position. And, some clubs bring the... Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers into the interview room, and then you don't have that hassle. But we're kind of
the fans don't care about that. They just want to see the Browns go 16-0.
Right.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Jeff, you came here after the first game downtown. Indians get great pitching, right? Plesac was tremendous. Didn't get the win, but he was great.
He was, and he got into some higher pitch counts than he wanted. A lot of 3-2 counts, left some guys on. But Nick Goody comes in and pitches 2 scoreless innings. Brad Hand comes in, strikes out the side.
Plesac, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, only 2 walks. Ramirez 1 for 2, a home run, couple of RBIs. He hit the homer after Santana reached on a single. So only 3 hits in that game. And just over the weekend with the new guys here, Jeff, I said, this lineup is awesome. They're going to score big runs every night. Not the case.
No, but I'll tell you what, when you look at Yasiel-Puig, his arms are bigger than my legs.
How about the throw he made from right field?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I think fans are going to like this guy, and I think maybe he and the other guy, franmil-reyes, the one they got from the Padres,
right.
I think they might be pressing a little bit. Puig's pressing. He wants to impress the new team, but it's also in his contract year.
Right.
So he wants to have a big 2 months, maybe 3 months.
Does he remind you in any way of Albert Bell?
As far as his size and his
size
power,
and the batting stance and the intensity at the plate.
I think I guess you could say that, but I think he's a lot nicer guy than
who isn't?
Yeah, than Albert Bell. And I'll tell you what, that franmil-reyes, I can't believe that guy is only 22 years old.
And he'll fill in.
If he fills in anymore, John Dorsey is going to be calling him because he looks like a defensive end.
Defensive end, not a tight end?
Well, he could be a tight end. I mean, he's 6'5", 260 or something like that. And now he strikes out a lot.
Right, yes.
And
yeah, but he also hit 27 homers.
Right. So, and I think once he settles in and doesn't try to hit a home run maybe every time he's up to bat with his new team, I think that for this season anyway, Les, right. I think that is going to be a good move for the Indians. Now, in the end, is it going to end up just being Trevor-Bauer for Reyes? Because I'm not sure, when we'll see these guys from the minor league guys that they got. Because they probably won't have Puig. He probably will go sign elsewhere.
Well, you're saying that, but I don't know how many teams are going to want him. I mean, he's been trouble in the past. Hasn't shown it here.
Right. And yeah, well, if they could re-sign him, that would be a bonus. But again, Indians probably were not going to keep Trevor-Bauer because he was going to be a free agent after 2020.
Right, you would have got nothing.
So my guess is they would have tried to trade him in the offseason. Would they have gotten as much for him in November as they did in the end of July? I'm going to say no.
Probably not. I mean, this sounds strange, but the only thing the Indians gave up in the trade was Trevor-Bauer. It's not like they gave up their farm system or gave up a starter in addition to Bauer. I don't like that Bauer is not here anymore, but I understand it completely, and I prefer it the way it is.
And I think it all comes down to, can Corey Kluber, will he rebound from his forearm injury? He's pitching tomorrow night. And we just talked to Terry Francona before the first game, and he said the plan is for Kluber to throw about 50 pitches tomorrow in Columbus.
Where's he? In Columbus.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I mean, after having just said what I did about Kluber, the way Plesac's pitching, I mean, I think Kluber still is a very vital part of what the Indians might do in the playoffs. But, Bieber's pitching really well.
Yeah.
And Clevenger.
And Plesac.
So, I don't want to get too far ahead here, but the Indians could make some noise in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And if they do, one of the reasons is the resurgence of Jose-Ramirez, which I don't understand. I like it. I have no idea why it took so long to happen, but he looks like the same guy he was 2 years ago.
Well, we asked Terry Francona about that after the game. You're right. And he just said he got in some really bad habits that he...
Well, I think he was trying to crank for home runs, and it turns out he can hit them without changing his stance and all that. This is before and after the All-Star break. It does not include the game that's going on right now. It does include the Game 1 of the doubleheader. He's had 7 home runs before the All-Star break, 8 after, and RBIs 35 to 50. How about that? 59 RBIs.
Look at that. And I'll tell you what, Les. I mean, his first at bat, they were playing the Twins at home after that All-Star break.
Right.
And his first at bat, man, he's batting right-handed. He just lashes a single to left. I mean, it was hit with authority, and I mean, I remember tweeting, "Hey, that was a great start for
the second half."
Yeah, in the second half. And it wasn't, there are hits and there are hits.
Right.
This was not a seeing eye hit. This is a scorching line drive.
And the home run he hit in Game 1 was just a high-arching home run. The only question is if it was going to stay fair or not.
Yeah, and so now, and he's stealing bases. He's stealing bases as you head up there.
And you're getting Kipnis delivering too.
Yes, and I was writing about both of those guys. And I'll finish that column when we're done here, and after the second game. But yes, and if you don't have those holes in your lineup anymore that were once there. So, and if you had Puig and Reyes settles in, they're going to have the other teams are going to have to pitch around about 6 or 7 guys.
I don't know that there's no hole in the lineup, but even Perez is unbelievable. I never thought that because of his weight and the way he carried himself, I thought he'd be tired by this time of the year, but he's got more power at the end of the year than he did at the beginning.
Right, and the pitchers love the way Perez handles the pitchers, and Plawecki's good at that too, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can explore your future and your interest and find a program at Tri-C that puts you on a path to a future career and a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. So go to tri-c.edu to find out more about Tri-C. Coming up tomorrow, Dave Bacon's going to be at he's going to be at Presque Isle Downs and Casino. Jeff, were you aware they're starting sports betting without too much publicity about it? But it all starts tomorrow, and it's going to be at the grand opening celebration, and that's at Presque Isle Downs and Casino, only 20 miles from the Ohio-Pennsylvania border on Route 90. Ribbon-cutting ceremony at 4 p.m. Celebrities will be there, and you'll be able to have your pictures taken with them between 4 and 5. It includes Hanford Dixon, former Browns great, as well as Lewis Lips of the Steelers, and Omar Marino of the We Are Family, Pittsburgh Pirates. And it all comes your way Thursday from 6 until 7 when Dave Bacon will be there for the grand opening. Grand opening actually starts at 4, but Dave will be there to broadcast back and forth with me here in the studio. That'll be tomorrow, the grand opening celebration of Presque Isle Downs and Casino. We'll come back in a moment. We've got Jeff-Schudel with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I think some of these guys, come out of school and they're swimming. There's a couple of different phases of their swimming here. One of them's in the spring when they're first initiated into it. The second is when the mini camps and OTAs start, when the speed picks up a little bit. And the third, they start swimming again, when the pads go on. Things start going a little faster. So it's a process for those guys. That's why you have training camp, is to get some of those things worked out. But I've been very pleased with Mac in the last 3 days. But we need to keep stringing days together, everybody. Needs to just string days together. And you do that by just walking on the field and making the best of that day and that rep and so on.
I know we've asked you a lot about right guard in general, but Austin Corbett, there are a lot of high expectations for him coming in. What does he need to do better to establish himself and give us a chance to see that job? Well,
I think it's an ongoing solution with all offensive linemen. They need to make sure they get their feet in the ground, good hand placement, and good pad level. And he's no different. Everybody else is working on the same things he's working on.
Do you see him get discouraged at all, just because I think people expected him to be the guy and he hasn't been the guy?
Well, again, if you start listening to outside noise, that's what happens. So that's what I've been urging him not to do. So if he's getting discouraged with what you guys are saying, then he's wrong. He needs to be worrying about what he's doing.
What do you guys like about Cush to kind of give him this chance to be out there and get some consistency and see what he does with it?
Yeah, we like Cush. That's why he's here. But again, he needs to string together days, just like you guys said yesterday. They need to string together days of good days, consistent days. I don't mind not being the best at anything. I just want to know what we're getting when you go out on the field.
Does he get that shot because he's got the most experience in the league, or has he done something in the camp to earn it?
Yeah, I don't know that he gets the shot because he has experience in the league. We judge off what we've seen, and that's where it starts, and that's a fluid situation.
This portion of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct, with 3 locations: West 140th Street in Cleveland, the old B&B Appliance on Lakeland Boulevard in East Lake and Freeway Drive in Macedonia. Check them out at northeastfactory.com. Jeff-Schudel is with us. That was freddie-kitchens talking about the depth chart, and you were saying during the break that it's not necessarily the real depth chart, which it does have to be for the real games.
Right. And so on the depth chart that they gave us, and I think the media relations department, I know the media relations department puts it together, and they had Austin Corbett at right guard, and he could start there tomorrow, but it would be a real surprise because Cush has been starting the screw, and he started at right guard the scrimmage less, and then on the next practice, which was Monday, he was back there. It was the first time that the same guy had been there, starting with the right guard since camp began.
So you got 3 guys there, kind of going after each other for the job. Would you probably say that somebody will be picked up on waivers and that number 3 will change?
I think that's a real possibility that they'll pick up a guard on waivers because.
Okay.
And that now, though, there's not that early cut that there used to be. This will all happen on the Saturday before the season begins, and that I think will be August 31st, and whatever that Saturday is. Now, see, in the past, the booby prize for going 0-16 is you get the first pick every time a guy gets cut.
Right. You mean from the waiver wire?
From the waiver wire, right. But now when you're 7-8-1, you have to let other teams have, So
I think I'd rather have it. I believe I'd rather have it that way.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah. But
take it the 1 year and run as fast as you can from that.
So they're not going to necessarily get the best guard that might get cut.
All right, so who's the front runner to start at right guard right now? If they were opening the season tomorrow, a regular season instead of exhibition season, who do you think would be there?
Well, I think they like Cush a lot. Now, Austin Corbett was drafted by John Dorsey with a 33rd overall pick last year.
Right.
But if he isn't the best, then
you can't hang on to it and just say, well, he was the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. If he's not the right guy, he's not the right guy.
And I think John Dorsey has done a great job, but nobody is infallible. So,
well, here's the resume of Corbett, his career. Entering his 2nd season, 23 years old, played in 11 games, 1 start last year, did start 49 games at left tackle. That was for Nevada. So I'm not sure where that gives you a resume for starting right guard.
Well, right, and so he got a lot of playing time at left guard last year in training camp when Joe Bitonio was the left tackle.
Right.
And then the coaches said, this isn't going to work. And so they moved Bitonio. That really was a problem. Then they moved Bitonio back to left guard where he belongs. And so then they were in a mess at left tackle until Greg Robinson stepped in the last half of the season. So I think Freddie-Kitchens said it right. It's a fluid situation, and those words to me mean the Browns will be looking at that waiver wire.
Just a question on the other side of the ball. Does Pharaoh Brown have a chance to make this team?
I hope he does. I mean, he's from
Brush.
Brush.
Brush has never had an NFL player. Excuse me. Brush has had NFL players, not Cleveland Browns players.
Yes, and he's had an up and down camp. Les, he's dropped some passes he should catch.
Right.
But he's also made some really nice.
Yeah, but isn't that the scouting report on him, that he will drop passes, but he's a great blocker?
Yeah, and I think he's really working on that part of his game. He's an amazing story of perseverance. When he was at Oregon, Les, he had
shattered his leg, right?
Yeah, it was a horrible knee injury, and I'm no doctor, as Bill Belichick would say, but it seemed like it stretched out his the veins going to his lower leg and cut off the blood flow to his lower leg, and they almost had to amputate his leg. Instead of doing that, they fixed him up, and here he is.
And he's got a shot at it.
Yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. I mentioned Northeast Factory Direct. You've been hearing about these people for years and years and years, and what a job they do marketing their place and getting the best prices out. Sofas and sectionals and theater seating and much more. It's Northeast Factory Direct. If you want some nice stuff but don't want to spend an outrageous amount of money, you got to check them out. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 locations. Alex is there. You can find him. He's not one of these absentee guys. He will work directly with you. 3 locations, of course. One is at West 140th Street in Cleveland and the old B&B Appliance on Lakeland Boulevard in Eastlake and Freeway Drive in Macedonia. Or check out everything they've got at northeastfactorydirect.com.
Les, I've been on that one there in Euclid on the old B&B.
Right.
That is a nice.
And you save money, right?
Right, yeah, and they have a lot. That's a pretty cool store.
It's great. All 3 stores, great locations and great stuff. It's Alex at Northeast Factory Direct. Coming up in Northfield Park on Saturday, they've got some great big-time races, including the one that's going to honor the late Carl Milstein, and it's a $400,000 Milstein Memorial. That's this Saturday. And the $50,000 Myron Charna President's Pace. I mentioned I bumped into Myron a couple of days ago. He's looking forward to that race, and you can look forward to it also. Food truck starting at 6 o'clock, going till 10 p.m., and all kinds of games, and you got a chance to win prizes, mostly cash. $500 cash is the big prize for the contest that they have. Check it out, Northfield Park, where they've got live racing, and of course it's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. When we come back, we're going to hear from the secondary coach, Joe Witt of the Cleveland Browns. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The kid is gifted. He's coming along. He still has a long way to go, but he has a lot of talent. He's physical. He can bend. He has loose ankles and hips. He can get the ball. He just has to really start to understand, some gap scheme things and where he fits in the run. Some things that he didn't do in college that we're asking him to do here. But once he figures it out, he has a chance to be a really good football player.
You talk about his ability to get the ball. I mean, do you just see that in some guys, just that knack to go get the ball?
Yeah, the football finds some people. It just does. It goes back to coaching college when I had Kerry Rhodes, the ball found him. Charles Woodson, it found him. D'Angelo Halls, it found him. Sam Shields, the ball found him. Casey Hayward, it found him. It finds certain guys, and he's one of them that the ball will find.
What have you seen out of Greedy so far during camp?
Greedy, he's been up and down. You see some really great flashes in coverage. He's been physical. He's put his nose in there, which I've been pleased with. But the consistency of every down, that's what we got to get from everybody, not just him. If you watch practice today, it wasn't good enough from a defensive standpoint. And we can't have a great day or a good day and drop like that. We have to have a level of consistency that can win games. And so I don't want to just point out Greedy, but Greedy, he's done some good things, but as a whole group, we have to get better.
Do you think that having a couple of LSU guys on the team has kind of helped him at least acclimate to the professional ranks?
You have to ask him. I haven't even talked to him. I don't know how many LSU guys. I know we got a lot of Miami guys. I don't talk to him about that type of stuff.
The way the Redwine hits, can he be like a tone setter kind of?
I hope so. He turned some offensive linemen around yesterday in their pull schemes, and I was impressed. He's done it all camp, and he's a narrow kid. You wouldn't think he'd have that much punch, but he does, and he's not afraid of anything. And so I've been pleased with his physicality and ability to bring a punch.
It's interesting. You get used to some of these new coaches, and they're gone so quick, and you got a whole new batch to
Right.
get used to. Here's the unofficial depth chart here. The defensive backs. Denzel Ward and Terrence Mitchell right now as the starters at cornerback, and the safeties Demarius Randall and Morgan Burnett. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think that probably would be a starting four when they're using like a 4-3-4 defense. But I think there'll be a lot of times less when they just use two linebackers and they use 5 DBs, and I think Jermaine Whitehead's going to play quite a bit.
All right, so here's the second team right now. TJ Carey, Greedy Williams, Eric Murray, and Jermaine Whitehead. Third team, Lindsey Pipkins, one of the great names on this team. Tavere Thomas, Sheldrick-Redwine, and Justin Burris, all on that list. So where do you think the rookies, Greedy Williams and Sheldrick-Redwine, at the beginning of the year, what do you see for them?
I think Greedy Williams will play quite a bit. Because he is making plays out there, and he's been assigned Odell Beckham on quite a few plays. And,
well, then Sundays in the NFL will look a lot easier to him.
Right, yeah. And you know what? I want to say this about freddie-kitchens. For some reason, Les, most coaches, and maybe it's because to build confidence, they have the first offense going against the second defense.
Right. No, not him. It's 1 versus 1.
Yeah, it's 1 versus 1. And when you think about it, and it's the same thing the other way, the second defense against the first offense. Well, that's great in practice.
Right.
And I think this is one reason that the Browns in the past have looked good in practice, and then reality sets in.
Guys are on the second unit for a reason.
Right. And so doesn't Greg Robinson, the left tackle, if you want to get him better, doesn't it make a lot more sense to have him going against Myles Garrett instead of the second?
And it's better for Myles Garrett.
Right. And it's like, I don't know why Pat Shurmur and Hugh Jackson and everybody, you could go all the way back to Chris Palmer, and they would do this.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
maybe
that
that's
Paul
the way
Brown
they
had his first team going against his first team.
I would think. I would think that's correct. What rookie has impressed you the most?
I like Mack-Wilson, the linebacker,
right.
And Taki. What a great name! Wouldn't you like to be the announcer doing Taki? I mean, the other linebacker, he's looked pretty good. But Greedy Williams, again, he when you can cover Odell Beckham tightly as he has, I think that's a good sign for the Browns.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at real-levine@gmail.com. Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame will open up its doors on September 18th for 6 new members. Otis Chapman, a racquetball great, John Malloy, hockey, Tony Miller, a couple of sports, Tom Lucci, Urban Meyer getting in because it's a 5-county area, including Ashtabula County, where he grew up, and Rob Moss from golf. Tickets available at and more information at 216-241-1919 or admin@clevelandsportshall.com. You can buy one individual ticket. You can buy a table. Check it out. That's coming up at Landerhaven on the 18th of September. That is a Wednesday night. 216-575-0403. If you can't reach us during the show, you can reach us on the voicemail of Truth and Reason anytime, 23 hours of the day, other than 6 to 7 p.m. when we do the show live. And you can call that number, 216-200-6650, 216-200-6650, the voicemail of Truth and Reason. Jaelen-Strong, that's another great name. He's fighting for a spot on the Browns. Jeff will discuss that and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Yeah, I feel it. You know, just coming in every day with the mindset of, you know, a new day, new rep, new play, one play at a time, and you know, just doing all I can out there to show the coaches I want to be here.
You've been around a little bit, but is there still any extra juice when you're running with the ones like you were today?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, anytime you got the opportunity to go out there with the ones, you know, you got to be on your A game and, you know, show the coaches that you belong out there.
This is a pretty deep receiving group. How good can this offense be with all you guys?
You know, we all learn from one another. So, you know, no matter who's out there, we all learning. Whoever, you know, is on the film, we're learning from them. So I think that's the biggest thing, that we could all learn from one another. You know, as far as the competition goes, you know, that's going to be there. Everybody has to go out there and compete, you know, against one another. But as far as us, we're like a family in there, you know, taking the coaching and, you know, taking the key points from the older guys as well.
When did you have your surgery last?
2018 of January.
And so do you feel back totally? You got everything?
Yeah, I feel stronger than ever, actually.
And faster?
Yes, sir.
Was there a point where you were discouraged and didn't know if you'd get this opportunity?
Of course, you know, I think that's with any battle, anything you're going through. When you know, hit rock bottom, I think, you know, that those thoughts always come. But it's just about, you know, not really so much listening to yourself, but, you know, talking to yourself and putting the work in, and hopefully seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
For
There's a lot of receiver types here. What do you bring? What's your skill set that you bring to this team?
You know, I'm just a hard worker. You know, whatever coaches need me to do, I'll go out there and do it, whether it's special teams or, you know, digging out those safeties in the run game, you know, whatever it is, you know. That's what I want to be here for the coaches and be able to be versatile.
Now that you're back, was it rock bottom?
I mean, at a time it felt like it, you know, but there's no place to go but up when you are that low. So just got to keep working and keep putting the plays together.
Did you spend any time with Odell before he got here?
As far as, I mean, we had the same agent, so, you know, we had a friendship beforehand as well. So, you know, he's always been somebody I learned from and looked up to. You know, actually things coming full circle and us being here together is crazy.
What's it like to practice with him and watch him every day?
You know, like I said earlier, we all learn from one another. So, you know, things that he does out there that I could learn from, you know, I ask him when he comes out the field, you know, should I take this step or that step? And, you know, he's open to us and he talks to us. He tells us, you know, key things that we can learn from him, and Jarvis the same way.
Well, there's a guy you didn't even think of as a guy who would have a chance to make the squad, and maybe he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's come back from some gruesome injuries. He had an ankle injury in 2016 when he was with Houston.
Yeah.
Knee injury in 2017 when the only game he played, and he didn't play at all last year. So, but he's fighting. He's made some nice catches. He's dropped a couple like everybody else, but
yeah.
I think you're going to have, of course, Beckham, Landry, Higgins. Callaway would be the fourth. Then does he keep six? Probably. I think Derek Willis, Jaelen-Strong, and Damon Ratley, who's been injured. My guess is those three guys are fighting for two jobs.
Well, he's a veteran entering his fifth year if he makes it. But as you say, you notice he made some catches, made some drops, but physically he looks okay to you?
Yeah, he does. And he's a big guy. He's muscular, so he'll fight for that ball. So I'd like to see him make it.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at real-levine@gmail.com. Sokolowski's University Inn. They won the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 in the country get it each and every year. Sokolowski's won it about 3 or 4 years ago, and the only one ever from the city of Cleveland. Located in Tremont, 5 minutes out of downtown. Take the Abbey Avenue exit. That's where you're going to find Mike and Bernie Sokolowski, where their family started it all. Their grandparents, actually, back in 1923. It's Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant, Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Tomorrow night, no guest in studio, but we will have Dave Bacon on split screen, and he'll be at the grand opening celebration, and that's of Presque Isle Downs and Casino, which will feature 50 state-of-the-art Bet America sports wagering kiosks located throughout the casino floor. There'll be areas throughout it all, including the sportsbook area, and that's coming up starting tomorrow. 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock is the celebration and the grand opening. That's tomorrow, which is the official start date for the NFL preseason games, and of course the Browns will be hosting the Washington Redskins at that point, and we're anxious to see how that all works out. Dave Bacon will be there tomorrow. We'll do the broadcast from there. I'll be in studio. He'll be right out there. 216-575-0403. We've got a Facebook question of the day, which we will get to when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine, exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. August 7th, 2007, Barry Bonds hits a 756th home run, breaking Hank Aaron's all-time record. You want to know something? One of the great things about baseball is records and numbers. 56 straight consecutive games for DiMaggio. It still hasn't sunk into me how many home runs Barry Bonds hit. Do you know that number?
No, I didn't know that number, but I sure knew, and I was watching TV when Hank Aaron hit 715.
Right.
I mean, we were...
Yeah, huddled around the TV.
Yeah, and 714, that was a number
that was a magic number.
We always knew, right?
Well, the answer is Barry Bonds hit 6 more than that. He hit 762. That's just not a number that rolls off your tongue.
No. And I think it's because he cheated.
Well, I don't think there's any question.
Right. And, I mean, I don't know. I do remember the...
All right, here's this date in Les-Levine history, 1977. At a stoplight, Les sees the license plate Deja Vu. He rolls down the window and says, "I have the feeling I've seen that plate before." The lady looked at me and said, "What are you, nuts?" Like, wouldn't you think if you had that, somebody would know, there would be some reason why they have that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give away your license plate, but you have one that honors 2 of your favorite players.
Right.
If anybody would see that, would know what that is.
A baseball person.
A baseball person would know. But the driver wouldn't say, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Colin Cowherd is getting great publicity for what he's doing to Baker-Mayfield.
Right.
And there are going to be weeks when Baker's not good, and the Browns will lose, and Colin gets to say, "See, I told you so," right?
Yeah.
That's how that works. Well, the Fresh Brewed Tees has come out with a couple of T-shirts following the last thing here. The Nerd instead of the Herd. I don't necessarily like that one, but I do like this one. Welcome to the frat house. He talked about the Cleveland Browns being a frat house.
Yeah. Good. You know what? Yeah, you know he's doing it for clicks or whatever.
Of course. But I'm not sure how many people in Cleveland actually have heard him on the radio, but now they might be curious.
Yeah, and FS1 or whatever he's on, his talk show, I don't think it
doesn't make a blip on the radar screen.
I don't
here.
think so, no.
I will be on a radio station that does make blips here locally tomorrow, 92.3 The Fan. I'll be there tomorrow and Friday from 10 until 2, and most Fridays throughout the football season as Jeff Phelps takes his place with the Browns radio network. We have a question of the day. Let's take a look at it and see who is the one player who could have a breakout year for the Cleveland Browns this year. Do you have a choice on that, Jeff?
Well, of course, we can't have Beckham or Landry. It's got to be a player who hasn't had. I mean, I think Njoku. I was saying Njoku.
Njoku will be the guy?
Mm-hmm.
He's about ready. Well, let's see what people have said, how they have responded to the question of the day. Gerald Morelli says something. I don't know what he says. I'll know in a minute, though. Yeah, he says Mayfield. I thought it was Gerald Morelli from Mayfield.
See, no, I
All right, let me go through the list. Rick May says, with all the attention on the receivers, I think Nick Chubb is going to surprise everybody. Andy Mees says, with OBJ and Landry as the Browns' top 2 options at receiver, that takes the burden off second-year receiver Antonio Callaway and should help him fly under the radar and break out. Trent Harrop says the line, check, backs, check, quarterbacks, check, receivers, check. Who's going to stop Njoku? I'm not going to say woof woof.
I go with Trent. I mean, I didn't mention Mayfield. He set a rookie record for touchdown passes last year, so I'm not sure you'd call him a breakout
guy.
And Nick Chubb had 1,000 yards, lost 5 on his last carry, so I didn't include him.
Did you hear what he said about that, by the way?
Yeah.
He said, basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. He said he didn't lose it in that last game. When he went over, he was at 1,005 at one point and then lost, 6 yards or 8 yards? He said, I lost it in the game against Pittsburgh when I got the ball and I ran to the wrong side. If I ran to the left instead of the right, I would have easily gained 20 yards.
Yeah. And I tell you what, freddie-kitchens loves that attitude of Nick Chubb's.
Right.
And see, that's another reason I didn't mention him as a breakout guy, because he played so well last year. So it's really going to be fun to see what happens when Kareem Hunt comes back from that suspension, and
he is allowed to play now, isn't he?
Yes, he'll play in the preseason.
Right.
I don't know if he'll play tomorrow night, only because he hasn't had those team reps.
Right.
But I would be surprised if he does not play against Indianapolis in that second preseason game.
Well, all of us in Northeast Ohio have heard about Northeast Factory Direct, and I've heard about it for years myself. They do such a great job promoting and getting the word out to Northeast Ohio. Alex is there. He's a good guy, and he could charge the same as the big stores, but he passes the savings on to you, buys in volume, cuts out all the expensive overhead, and he passes the savings on to you, and then he loads up all of his high-quality stuff into one big old warehouse instead of a fancy retail store. His rent is about 1/10 of what the big furniture stores pay. I'm telling you, Northeast Factory Direct, not a fancy place at all. It's a warehouse. It's not set up like the big retail stores, but you're not paying for it to be fancy. You just want the furniture. Check them out at Northeast Factory Direct. 3 great locations. Of course, you know they're West 140th. They're at the store Jeff was talking about, and that's the old B&B Appliance in Euclid. And of course, the newest one on Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Northeast Factory Direct. Northfield Park, they've got the big event coming up. They'll celebrate the Milstein Memorial Race. That's a $400,000 race, and the Myron Charna race, also the President's Cup, all at Northfield Park. And they've got contests for you where you can win cold hard cash, and that's at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We're going to come back one more time. We'll check out some emails, some How Come Quickies, and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature's Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement,
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
and we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature's Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature's Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night we'll split screen it. Dave Bacon will be at Presque Isle Casino for that grand opening. That'll be tomorrow night. I will be in studio. You'll find out about what's going on with the sports betting, which will coincide with the opening of the exhibition football season. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. Jeff, let's take a look at the birthdays for today. Pretty good list. Don Larson pitched the perfect game in the no-hitter, 1956. Roly-Poly was born in 1947. Sidney Crosby, Beanie Wells, DeMar DeRozan, and Mike Trout. Any list that Mike Trout is on automatically makes it a great list.
Well, look at that. Don Larson,
what a player.
Sidney Crosby.
Pretty good day.
Yeah.
Pretty good day, no question about it. Time for a How Come Quickie. How come if 2 heads are better than 1, Jeff, the grocery store charges the same for the second head of lettuce as they do the first? How come?
Should be more. That's a good question.
Should be more if the 2 heads are better than 1. All right, let's check out some quickies and other emails that have come in. Mark from Beechwood writes in today. We haven't heard from him in a long time. Hey, Les, Mack-Wilson is going to be the steal of the draft. How serious is Avery's injury, and does Jeff think that Wilson can fill that spot?
Well, Avery has an ankle injury, and those could sometimes be slow to heal. And so Mack-Wilson is getting a lot of playing time. He's looked really good out there. And we'll see. I mean, Avery really came on strong last year.
He did.
So, I would think that if he could be healthy, that would be pretty nice linebacking core to add to that front line that Freddie-Kitchens keeps saying the defensive line will be the strength of the team.
All right, you are not obligated to laugh at these quickies. However, if you feel the urge, feel free to just let it go. And if you don't like them, you can let me know on that also.
All right.
This is from Mitch in Kent. How come I had trouble sleeping last night on my daybed?
That was pretty good.
Do distilled waters also run deep? I like that. For a clog, how come a clogged sink shouldn't you use drain yes instead of drain no? You got to. Quickies you don't have to think about them.
No.
They should just come naturally.
I like this.
Like this one, you have to think way too much on this. Raymond Price, this is not a good one, Ray. How come in football, when defensive ends can't play on the left end or the right end of the defensive line, they play left out?
Nah,
I don't like that.
No, it's not his A game.
Mr. Gullible, who's traveling around the country checking out baseball games in all cities, he sent me a couple of emails with the pictures of him in different ballparks. Mr. Gullible says, how come oxygen is so toxic that most people who inhale it die within 90 years?
Not his best.
How come if 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean one person enjoys it? Well, 4 people suffer, so what does the other person do? He says, I just left the famous Pike Place Market where they throw the fish. Now I'm entering a very traditional interleague ball game between the Mariners and the Padres. John Patrick writes in. Ready?
Okay, I'm going.
How come when the candle factory caught on fire, everybody stood around singing happy birthday? That's a takeoff on when a baby is born, the nurses and doctors, they're the ones who should be singing happy birthday. It's the kid's birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Not when he's 37.
Yeah.
That doesn't go.
I like the distilled water.
All right, so there were some good ones, some bad ones, which to me makes a good How Come Quickie Day.
Right.
So I'll be on 92.3 The Fan, and I don't know what time, but it's obligatory for me to do How Come Quickies when I'm there. It's when like the substitute teacher is in. When Baskin and Phelps aren't there, I can run How Come Quickies.
You're doing the whole thing yourself tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be a good show. I mean,
I have in my career, I have said everything that I know. There's anything that I now say the rest of my career, and hopefully it's 25, 30 years.
Right.
Anything that I say is a repeat. There's nothing new that's going to come out. So if I'm doing this show or the radio show, somebody can call in and say, Les, you said that before. And I will say, yeah, I know. You come up with something new.
Yeah. Well, you'll come up with something. Like I think around 1900, someone said, but everything that can be invented has been invented.
Although I don't think How Come Quickies, I don't think Marconi invented How Come Quickies.
No, he did not. He did not.
All right.
I think that was Al Gore.
We are officially, for those marking this on their calendars, this is the day before exhibition game number 1 for the Cleveland Browns. Assign a number on the regular season. How many wins out of 16? I know the easy we'll ask you again in 4 weeks when you're on.
I'm going to say 9 and 7.
9 and 7.
Yeah, I'm going to be maybe a little.
And would people be happy would people understand that? Would they be happy with it? Would they be disappointed with it? Would 9 and 7 get them to the playoffs?
Probably not. I mean, it could win a division.
Well, it could. It could win a division. Yeah, and also, when Romeo Crennel was here, they won 10, and because of the way other teams did it, they didn't get in. So 10 isn't the automatic number either.
I think 9 and 7 would be not satisfied. No one would be satisfied.
Right.
But I think if you step back, you'd say this is good progress.
Okay. Do you think that the people have been sold on not a fake product, but one that's not? Do you think it's overhyped?
I think that there are some holes that are not glaring, but that might be exposed.
Okay. Such as?
On the offensive line. Now, there's the fact that Baker-Mayfield gets rid of the ball so quickly and that he's mobile.
Right.
Maybe you
didn't get touched last year.
Right. Yeah. He sacked 5 times the last half of the season.
It's nothing.
That's really nothing. And is this offensive line as good as when it was Joe Thomas, Bitonio, and Alex Mack at center?
Okay, I can answer that. No, of course it's not as good.
But you have instead of Johnny Manziel or Whedon or whoever it was at that time.
Or the guy who's starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy's got 10 years in the business.
Yeah. You know what? When you're a good guy, when you're a good soldier, and
you help the new guys.
Yeah, and you're capable, you're going to make a lot of money, and
carry a clipboard.
Right. And I mean, Colt McCoy is a good teammate. He'll do whatever the coaches ask, and he's made a career at doing that. Mike Tomczak did that. There's a lot of NFL
Brian Hoyer.
And McCown when he was here.
Right.
And
look
how long he played.
Yeah, he's the guy who not invented it, but he went the longest with it, didn't he?
Right. And he played a long. There's nobody more unselfish than him. And look how long he played.
All right, let's turn our attention to one of the other sports you cover, which of course is the Cleveland Indians. A month when the Browns start, 3-4 weeks from now, where are the Indians?
I think by then they're going to be in first place in the AL Central.
Right.
And I think
win it going away, as I predicted.
I think they'll win by like 8 games.
Yeah.
And I mean, this series
well, they better win at least 2 in this series.
Right. I mean,
for that to happen.
Right. I wouldn't call this a crucial series. If they get swept, that would be not good. But
you know what I don't understand? How people say when you're getting into April, May, and June, and say I don't watch scoreboards. It's not important. Hey, winning a game in April or May is one game you don't have to win now. Boy. Now it gets harder to win games.
Right. But that is so true, Les. I mean, think about whatever team you follow, and they lose by 1 game. I mean,
yeah, you can find some game in April that you should have won, and you gave it away.
I covered the Monsters too, and 2 years ago they missed the playoffs. If they had scored 1 more goal in that last game, they would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if they would have won one of those games in November or December or wherever that they played poorly, they would have been in.
All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by Jeff-Schudel, as always, and we're looking forward. You need a rest, don't you? Are you okay?
You know what? I have more fun working than not working. So,
and you have fun doing the show occasionally?
I love doing this show, Les. I'm honored when you call, and this is a good...
Honored?
Honored, yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we appreciate that very much. All right, that'll do it for us. Tomorrow night, Dave Bacon, split screen with me. He'll be at Presque Isle. That's in Erie, Pennsylvania. You can join him or just follow us and learn how you can get involved. I will see you tomorrow also on radio. I'll be there from 10 to 2 on Thursday and Friday. In for Jeff, I'm actually in for Baskin and Phelps, so I'm calling the show not Baskin and Phelps. Not Baskin nor Phelps.
Well, that'll be good. You'll do a good job.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.